Carla here from One Woman, and I'm here talking to you with the amazing, beautiful, talented Teresa Carthron. How are you today, Teresa?
I am doing fabulous, Charlene. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, well, I'm excited to catch up because we haven't seen each other since the Ireland and UK tour. You spoke on so many of those stages, really empowering those ladies, and we
Yes.
really got to know you more. So tell me a little bit, Teresa, for the viewers that don't know you yet, tell me a little bit about your background and what got you onto this journey of helping and empowering others, especially women.
Well, really, what I would say is, I always like to lead out by saying that I'm a beast in the mindset elevation streets. And really, what got me onto this mission of helping people with their mindset, my background is that I'm a nurse. And, from being a nurse, what I found out is that when you meet people in the middle of a crisis, that's when you really kind of see that inside story. And you see much more than the illness. You see family dynamics. You see how people feel about themselves. You see so many broken relationships. It's just much more than an illness, and that's really what I started to see so much more of. Is and now mental illness is becoming so prevalent. And it was interesting was that I was working for an insurance company, doing coaching with different members, and the members, they were Medicaid members, and I thought that most of them would be older, but they were really in their 30s and 40s, and every single person had some type of mental diagnosis, like they were depressed or something like that. And what I found was that they just didn't connect with their own, they didn't have a positive self-identity. And, when I would listen to their stories, I came to the conclusion, you know what, these people are really not sick. They're struggling, they're just struggling with comparing themselves to others. I mean, things that a lot of us do, but they just weren't coping with that, so well. And it just pushed me, just those experiences have pushed me towards just motivating others, showing them that they are valuable, no matter what their station is. And that's how I came to doing what I do.
Yes, well, and you do it so well. I've got to hear you speak at a number of events. And the beautiful thing about you, Teresa, is it's not the same talk twice. Like lots of times you listen to what's calling on your heart or what you feel that room really needs, or just talking to the people who are there.
Yes.
And that's what I
Yes.
love so much about hearing you speak, is that you really tailor it to your audience as to what their needs are, really listening and paying attention to that, and really tailoring your talk to inspire the people that you serve. And I love the work that you do. So another exciting thing that's happened since I saw you is you've launched a brand new website. So let's talk a little bit about that and just the work that you do overall to help and empower other people.
Yes, so I did launch a brand new website. So while I was touring around in Europe, I was already working on reconstructing a new brand, because just in the span of a year and a half, I've become an author. I had already been a public speaker, now an international public speaker. So I came up with my new brand, which is Mind Shift Elevation is the name of my company, but my website is www.iamteresac.com, and that's Teresa with no H. And I thought that would be great because it helps to define me. I like the sound of I am Teresa C. I am. I like affirming myself, so it has affirmation in it, and it's easy to spell. Very easy to spell. And so the work that I do is I work with women. In particular, I work, there are men as well, but I do work with women, I say, from the living room to the boardroom. So as women, we multitask all the time and we wear just so many hats. So we're, you know, a mother, a sister, a daughter, you know, we're trying to be a wife. But then there are those of us who are also in the boardroom. But what I found is that no matter where we are, guess what? We face those same issues where we are comparing ourselves to one another, where we don't feel like we're doing enough, even though we're doing a million things and we're doing amazing things. We don't feel like, you know, we're doing enough, or we don't like our bodies, or whatever the case may be. And we need to get rid of, I call it stinking thinking. And so I'm pretty good at helping people. I say, take that stinking thinking, bag it, tag it, drop kick it, and punt it to the curb. To the curb. And so one thing that I do is every single day I send out a word of inspiration to my group. You know, it's something short, but you know, there's an affirmation, a word of encouragement, a word of inspiration every single morning. It started out, believe it or not, Charlotte, with me and 5 of my friends. And the motto in the group is that friends really do, you know, encourage together. And so I started it out as a community. Now it reaches, you know, across the whole U.S., which is pretty amazing. I don't know everyone in the group, but what I do know is that everyone that got to the group got there by a friend. So I started this group, and from that, I started doing live meetings where I would meet with women, and we talk about all sorts of things. We talk about money, we talk about our health, you know, we talk about our ability to communicate and to grow, you know, and just be the best women possible to create that life of, you know, the life and business that we're looking to create.
Absolutely. And that's what I love is I think, would it be fair to say that your foundation of everything that you do is really about self-love and self-care?
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
where it all begins to flourish in every area of your life, is that kind of that whole concept. If you can fill your cup first, you can create it to overflowing to every area of your life and to everybody who's involved in your life.
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, what I found now, my book is called Financially Fit. And sometimes people will ask me, well, how did you end up writing a financial self-help book? Well, you know, if you don't, the way that you care for yourself, it spills over into how you manage your money. If you really don't love yourself and value yourself, guess what? It's hard for you to receive love. It's hard for you. How can you really truly love someone else if you don't love yourself? And if you don't love yourself, when somebody gives you a compliment, guess what? You kind of say, what are they up to? You know, you just don't receive the compliment quite so well. You think that there's some type of underlying message to it. And if you can't affirm yourself, then it's hard for you to communicate with others or show empathy. So it really goes over into everything, into our relationships, with the people who are friends, even friends who are in our inner circle, as well as it goes over into just our general attitude at work. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it impacts every single thing.
It sure does. And I think that that's an area, like you said, that you found that, so many people are struggling with in their lives, especially women. Because I
Yes.
think that as women, we often put ourselves in that nurturer role, that care for everybody else role. It just happens. One day you wake up and, your children come first, your spouse comes first, your work comes first, your business comes first, and all of a sudden there's no time left in the day for ourselves. And that's what I love, is that we work together to, that you'd created for us one of our One Woman Empowerment Academy workshops called Girl, Watch Your Mouth. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about that, because yes, it's our own health and well-being, what we're putting in our mouth. But also what I love is that you really cover what comes out of our mouth, our self-talk, what we're saying. So let's talk a little bit about the workshop and how you created that, and what your goal is for women when they watch the workshop.
Absolutely. So yeah, girl, watch your mouth. I thought that was just perfect. And I say that it's not just that old cliche like your mama used to say, girl, watch your mouth, or I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap. It's really talking about how we speak to ourselves. You know, I like to ask women, what do you say when you speak to yourself? Because your voice is really the greatest voice out there. It is the most powerful voice out there. So if you're telling yourself that you can't, guess what? I can believe in you 150%. But if you're telling yourself that you can't, you can't. You know, the things that we say to ourselves, oh, if you're looking in the mirror and you're always putting yourself down, you're already starting your day off on, you know, the wrong foot. You know, the words that come out of our mouth, they really do hold the power. And if we can learn to affirm ourselves, I try to teach women in the course, I teach you how to affirm yourself, how to actually give yourself, your own self, that pat on the back. Don't wait for other people to say that you're great. I'm telling you, I am great. I'm awesome. I can rattle off my affirmations. It wasn't always that way, but it is now. It does take practice, and that's why a course is very much needed. I'm glad that you mentioned how, as women, we just give, we nurture, we pour out. And then what do? We start all over again. We give, we nurture, we pour out. And then what do? We give, we nurture, we pour out. We never take the time to just take care of ourselves. If there's a promise that's going to be broken, guess what? It's the promise that we made to ourselves. I'm currently working on a book that's called Promises, and it's 120 days of keeping the promises that I make to myself. And I love it. It is very challenging because we can start out at the beginning of the day promising ourselves something, but then guess what? When something else pops up, what do? We'll break the promise that we made to ourselves, and then we will cater to someone else. If we plan to do something for ourselves, we're going to go to the spa, or we're going to take a nap, or we're going to take a day off. Guess what? We easily allow other people and things on that schedule, and then what? We don't do those things that we had planned to do for ourselves. So one thing that I'm going to do in 2020 is I am going to do quarterly relax, release, rejuvenate weekends. So I'm super excited about those. And relax. Last year, what I started doing was one weekend a month. I started going to the spa for 3 hours, just 3 hours. Changed my life, Charlotte. It is something about taking that phone and putting it into the spa locker, right? So it's in the spa locker. So my phone is protected now. Nobody's taking it, but it's in that spa locker. And for 3 hours, no one is asking me to do anything. All that they're doing is asking me, how can they serve me? Just those 3 hours a month has just changed. It's just changed everything. So now I started mentioning it to other women. They're like, oh my goodness. Okay, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. And then I was speaking, yeah. And then I spoke about it, and this lady that is head of an organization, she was like, hey, put that together, my women will be there. So once a quarter next year, I'm going to do a relax, release, rejuvenate weekend, and they're going to kind of build on one another, like say maybe a half day the first time, a full day the next time, an overnight the next time, and ultimately we're going to do a 3-day weekend. And I just kind of wanted to be a time where we as women can come together, where we can truly relax, where we can eat good food, meaning food that's good for you, drink some clean water, water that's good for you. And by the time we get to the retreat, I want to bring a chef in, maybe to help us learn to do prepare meals in a healthy way. I want to have a speaker to come and talk to us about how to de-stress in the midst of chaos, not once we get home and try to pull ourselves together after we run over everything all the way home. But how in the midst of something happening, how we can kind of get ourselves together and be calm. So, you know, anything that has to do with strengthening us, strengthening our minds, because it all starts, you know, with the way that we're thinking. And if you can empower a woman You know this, Charlotte. If you can empower a woman, then you will empower a household. If you empower a household, you will reach the community. If you empower the community, then you can just reach the whole world. I mean, it's limitless.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that whole concept of just unplugging and realizing that the world's not going to fall down if, you're not at its beck and call 24/7, and just
Absolutely.
of learning that. Like, you think as
Absolutely.
grown adults, we shouldn't have to learn this, but we've fallen into such unhealthy patterns and behaviors. And that's what I also love about your workshop, is that, it shouldn't take crises to then happen for us to make that change. Seeing rises in your blood pressure, or going to your doctor and all of a sudden something is showing up that shouldn't show up, and all those things, and we just don't pay attention to that. And just creating that consciousness and awareness around how we are in our own self-care and taking care of ourselves and having that balance, and learning that. So would you say that workshop that we did, the online workshop, is a really good foundation for women to start and kind of learn all the basics of their own personal self-care?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the workshop is an excellent foundation because it focuses on two things. It focuses on what you put into your mouth, and that aspect where I take a lot of time speaking about health. So I mentioned in the beginning that I am a registered nurse. So I am a registered nurse of over 20 years. I'm also a certified dementia and Alzheimer's practitioner, a dementia and Alzheimer's care trainer, a dementia first responder trainer, a CPR instructor, and also a developmental disabilities professional. So I've kind of gone across the gamut. So I've seen so many different health disparities, and it's very true that some things are just so simple. In the course, I go over some of the most common things, such as our blood pressure, our blood sugar, BMI, and how much water we should drink. Those four things, but I break them down in just very simple terms. And I answer questions such as, what is it? How do you measure it? Where can you get something? Can you measure it at home? How much does it cost to, purchase equipment? And I actually demonstrate during the class how to take the measurements, how often you should measure, when you should be really alarmed. And then I talk about, well, once we get all these numbers, what the heck do we do with these numbers in the first place? And the reason that I talk about that is because I want to empower people to make their doctor a part of their team. I don't think that it's really fair for us to go to the doctor once a year or twice a year and show up and do what? We say, hey, he or she says, how's everything? And we say, fine.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
And everything really may not. And then we leave, you know. So I empower you during the course. I teach what should you be asking? How can you make the doctor an integral part of your team, not the leader of your team? You need to be the leader of your team. I empower you to be able to do that with just plain, instructions. And then the other portion of the class, of course, is about self-love, self-care, self-affirmations. There are worksheets in there. So once you leave the course, then you really have your own proven plan. I don't tell you what you need to do because you already have the tools within you as for your life circumstances and what you're able to do and what things you really desire to do and the things that make you happy. And the course teaches you how to connect with those things that really resonate with you, things that will really empower you and give you the solutions that you need.
Yes. Well, I got to see it and do it online, and I learned a lot, like things that you think you should just know, but you forget about, and just to pay attention to. And I absolutely loved it. And I think it's a great foundation for everyone to have for their own self-care, but also as a great introduction to the work that you do, and to really be a part of that bigger picture. Because I just love what you have going on, Teresa. I love the idea of the retreats and really bringing women together to have that support, because sometimes women don't feel supported, I think, in what they're doing. And to not feel guilty about taking that time out and knowing that it's normal, not only normal, but it's healthy to do that.
Yes.
And then also just to be part of your community, because you do a lot of great things through your Facebook page, through your social media, and you have some great things coming up like your self-love days. So let's talk a little bit about those and how people can tune in and learn more about what you do.
Yes. So my website, again, www.iamteresac.com. And then on all social media, that is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, I am at I am Teresa C. So simply, you can join me. And what I plan to do so that I want this to go across the world. My goal, my singular goal, is to make self-love, self-care, and self-affirmation go viral. And so I am asking people to join this journey so that people can be more familiar with me as well as take a part of this. Then I am going to do 3 days through the holidays, and I will announce those on my Facebook and Instagram as well as LinkedIn. And so the first one will be self-love. There will be a self-love day. Then there will be self-care. And then we'll finish with self-affirmation. And I'm going to pick the block of time. It's not going to take so much of your time, but 30 to 45 minutes where I will come on, talk about that particular topic, whether it be self-love, care, or affirmation, give tips, and then actually I'm hoping that people in the community will chime in, and share things about themselves, be able to ask questions if there's a question, shout out an affirmation, or share with us a tip, something that you're doing to help you to be successful with your self-care. And I want to do this just so to empower women across the world, and so that we can really take this into 2020 as something that's causing impact in our communities. When I was growing up, there was this song saying, what the world needs now is love, more love. But guess what? That starts with us. If we're all uptight, angry, bent out of shape, depressed, tired, or as I say, tired in my southern accent, tired. If we're that way, then we don't really have anything, to offer. Also, the reason that I'm doing it during the holiday time is that Christmas is like still, I may as well be too, because I love Christmas and I really love the holidays in general. But as a clinician, and then even if you're not a clinician, statistics say that the holiday time is really the highest. That's where you see the highest incidence of suicide. Because while some of us are celebrating, there are many people who are lonely. And they're lonely because they're a broken relationship. Sometimes there's been loss during the holidays and they're struggling with grief. So I really want to kind of stand in the gap for that and kind of join hands with those people and let them know, you know what, you're not alone and that you're valuable and you still have so much to offer and the world needs it. My favorite phrase, Charlotte, is you are the most important piece of your life's puzzle. Without you, your life's puzzle will always have a hole in it. Because guess what? No one can fulfill your shoes.
Absolutely.
Not one person.
Absolutely.
So that's what those days are all about. And so I would love it if people would join my Facebook community at I Am Teresa C. I will be announcing them there and be a part of this movement.
Yeah, and we're definitely at the end of the video going to put up
okay.
Up on the screen with all the links where people can get a hold of you through Facebook, through your website, all that good stuff. And the other thing that you've recently added, which I love, is you have an entire membership around the self-love and the self-care and really the tribe that you're building of bringing women together to really care about each other and to learn how to care for yourself. So talk a little bit about why that was important for you to create and kind of what your goal is behind the memberships.
Okay, so it was very important for me to create this because, again, my focus is to make this whole movement go global. I think that it is so necessary. I see it everywhere, to my left and to my right. That is at the grocery store, that is at work, that is at church, that is in my job. I see it every single place. There's not anywhere that I can go where I can really see just true happiness in everyone. So for those people who really need this, and again, mental illness is on the rise. And when I hate to even say mental illness, because I'm talking about depression, depression, loneliness, anxiety, stress, those types of things. I wanted to build a community of support. I know for a fact that with my inspiration community, that there's a great impact for those who are a part of it. And I wanted to create the memberships because I wanted people to have an opportunity to participate at the level that they feel will best suit them. There will be plenty of free things on the site, such as I am launching a podcast. I am launching a YouTube channel, and those things will be available to everyone. However, within the membership, we'll have a private Facebook group. There will be 3 tiers, but each tier will build on the other. The differences will really just be access to me at certain levels. As it goes up, I will be doing live webinars, Q&A sessions. The top tier, I will be bringing in industry experts. So there will be therapists and others who will be joining me, who will be a part of this movement, helping women to be as successful as possible, creating the life of their dreams.
I love it, Teresa. I love what you're doing. I love your whole message.
Thank you.
I'm going to continue to keep brushing up because I'm one lady who definitely needs lessons in self-care as I travel around as much as I do. And well, you know what, you've seen me. So
yes, it's a hard, you have a hard job, Charlotte. I said, next time I come, I need me and an assistant.
Yes. And I'm learning those things too, thanks to you and listening to all your wise words. And so I appreciate that. So before we wrap up, Teresa, is there anything that we didn't cover today that you want to talk about, or any final thoughts or words that you want to leave our viewers today?
Only thing that I would say that we haven't covered, and I don't want to cover it too much, just to say a little sneak peek, because I do have another course that is within One Woman, which is Girl, Get Your Money Straight. Because I can tell you right now, if your money is messed up, your mind is probably messed up as well. That's impacting you as well. And so I will be creating a similar thing for that as well. So that will be coming up very soon. And the only other thing that what I would like to leave with the community is, I've already told you what my favorite quote is about: you are the most important piece of your life's puzzle. But what I will say is, don't compare yourself to anybody else, because you are valuable. And while you're looking at someone else, guess what? Somebody else is watching you and wishing that they could be in your shoes. Your job is hard. It's hard being a woman, but it's harder being you. But guess what? You're the only one that can be you. And that's the truth right there.
Yes, it sure is. I love it. And thank you for mentioning that, because the Girl Get Your Money Straight, as well as on our website, it is available. So you can sign up for that workshop as well at our One Woman Empowerment Academy on our website. We'll put the link to that as well as we close up. And we'll definitely be talking to Teresa more. And that's kind of, we'll do another interview around the new year, because I think that's a big goal for women a lot of times for the new year, whether that's getting out of debt, whether that's saving for the future, whether that's a goal that you have that you want to align with your finances. It's something that Teresa is absolutely brilliant at. And but I know that that's a whole other conversation, because there's a lot that goes with it, and also the tools to help women to get them to their goals. So I want to thank you, Teresa, for joining us today and for sharing all of your wisdom and all the wonderful stuff that you have going on to help women take care of themselves, to be better in every area of their life. And so I encourage everyone to connect with Teresa through her social media, through her website, and through all the great things that she has going on. And we'll be sure to see you again as we do more interviews with our amazing one-woman, spectacular, amazing ladies who not only speak and share on the Fearless stage, part of our empowerment academies, our speakers bureaus and everything, but women who we just want you to connect with and learn about the great things that they're doing in the world. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for having me.